Hi, it's just a question for tonight's live Q&A. So I'm looking for an uplift in implants. My breasts are asymmetrical, so I've been advised a lift and 2 different sized implants. Just wanted to ask a question to help any other ladies who may be in a similar situation, but too embarrassed to show. So this person is, I put this deliberately towards the end because I got a photo and I'm worried that I might get, disciplined by Facebook. Now, thank you for putting things over the areas of the body that maybe are supposed to be shown. So, what time is it? 8:15. Is it acceptable? I'm going to show a photo now. So, if I guess I should disclaim it now. So, if you've got not disclaim, but if you've got children watching, maybe ask them to leave the room or turn the computer away now. Because I've got a photo here. I don't know. I don't know. I like showing photos because I think it helps to get an idea, but I don't want to upset anyone or be told off by Facebook again. God knows I've been told off enough. So I'm going to show the photo in 3, in 2, in 1. Photos coming up. So this is a photo here. Right, so I hope I don't want to get that way around. So this photo here, so a bit of a breast asymmetry, one breast bigger, I don't know, you see one breast bigger than the other, sitting a bit low. Nothing too drastic, but yeah, good question. So I better, yeah, I got away with it. I haven't got banned yet. So, so yes, thank you very much for letting me show the photo. So this is a good question. So, breast implants under or over the muscle. So really interesting, and this is a question that will be answered differently by different surgeons. Just 10 surgeons, you're going to get, well, probably not 10 answers because there's only 2 answers, but 5 of each maybe. Anyway, and it depends on how much tissue you've got in the upper part of your breast. If you've got enough tissue, enough soft tissue cover, then I would put it on top of the muscle. And looking at the photo, that's where I'd be inclined to go. I'd want to examine you in clinic, so just to disclaim that, but that's where I'd be inclined to go on top of the muscle. And the reason I go on top of the muscle, because I worry that one of the risks of putting the implants under the muscle is the muscle holds the implant high. And if the muscle holds the implant high and your breast's sitting low, it doesn't look good. So I would therefore put it on top of the muscle. Now, if you're very slim and you do have, particularly if your rib cage is showing, you worry that you're going to see the edges of the implant, you're going to feel the edges of the implant, you might get visible rippling. So that would be the worry, and that would be the reason to put it underneath the muscle. But some people say, oh, but under the muscle is better, isn't it? Or over the muscle is better. I'm like, no, one isn't better. If one was better, we would just do it that way. The problem with putting it underneath the muscle, because you might say, I don't want to have rippling. I want to be able to see the edges. Oh, well, have it under the muscle. The problem about under the muscle, as I say, sometimes the implants are held high, sometimes they're held wide. If you see a particularly wide cleavage, that means they've had them under the muscle. They haven't released the muscle enough. And sometimes you get animation deformity. So when you do the gym and things, the breasts move because the implant is underneath the muscle. And when you tense the pec major muscle, the breast moves. So there are good and bad about putting under the muscle and over the muscle, but on that one, I would probably put them on top of the muscle, although I would have examine you in the clinic to have a look at your subcutaneous covering in the upper part of the breast to see if there's enough cover to sort of hide the implants. Now, the other thing it was saying, what was the other thing it was saying? Oh, yeah, the asymmetry. Yeah, so there's 2 ways you can address an asymmetry. If you're just having implants, then obviously it will be what's called a differential augmentation, where you put a bigger implant in the smaller breast. But if you're having a lift with implants, you could still do that, lift both and do a differential augmentation. Or you could do a small reduction of the bigger breast and then put the same implants in. No right or wrong. I've done it both ways. Pros and cons of both. The pro of doing the lift and different size implants is that you're not removing any breast tissue. Obviously, you want to maximize the amount of breast tissue in order to get maximal cover over the implant. The benefit of taking a bit of tissue out of the bigger breast and putting same size implants in is that then as you age, as your body weight and fat and what have you goes up or down, then they'll do that equally because there'll be the same volume of breast to implant in both sides. 6 and 2 3s. But yeah, that's fine doing it whichever way. And then what I say to people, this isn't my patient, so your surgeon might have said this to you, but what I say to everybody is there's probably still going to be some asymmetries, whether you do a differential augmentation or whether you do a reduction of the bigger breast. There'll probably be some asymmetries, but we're trying to bring it back into proportion and make it look more balanced is the goal. So that's a good one, and thank you for the photo. Photos are always good. They are, aren't they? You are great. Thank you, Olivia. That's kind. Let's leave that up there for a bit. Natalie, thinking about being able to see the implants due to your size/weight. I'm a size 8 and you can see my ribs. So that's probably why the surgeon is saying to put my implants under the muscle. I always wondered why, so now I know the answer. Yes, exactly. So if you can see your ribs, that's sort of like a ballpark sort of assessment. If you can see your ribs, so I say to people, look, if I can see your ribs, if I can do like that, and I know I'm going to touch a rib because I can see it, then if you can't hide your ribs, how can I hide these implants? If you can see your ribs, you're going to be able to see the implants. And the other thing I say to people, if they're having it on the muscle goes, the pec major goes from your arm down onto your breastbone. It goes across like that. That's how the pec major muscle sits. So this bit here is always not under the muscle, sort of thing, so it's not under the muscle. So you might have rippling and things laterally. If you're very slim, you might have implant rippling laterally, and it might be a question of like, that's because you're so slim, I can't hardly hide the implant. It's what it is. That's, just don't have surgery, take it or leave it. That's what it is. If you're very, very slim, you might get rippling, you might be able to see the implant, you might be able to feel the implant laterally, even if you have them under the muscle. And it's all about having this conversation before having the surgery, because then you accept it better afterwards, rather than us saying to you afterwards, oh yeah, you can always feel it laterally, yeah, because you haven't got any muscle there. And you're like, oh, thanks for telling me that now.